Welcome, everyone, and Shabbat Shalom. How nice it is to be sitting together in the crisp autumn air out here on our patio under our beautiful tent before our garden as the darkness arrives, and with it the warmth, yes, the warmth and the glow of Shabbat. I'm Rabbi Michael Friedman, joined by Rabbi Ilana Nemetov-Bressler, Rabbi Zach Pleasant, Cantor Julia Cadrain, and by all of you who are here in person, and those of you who are joining us via the live stream as well. I know there are some of us here who are anticipating, celebrating a beautiful and memorable milestone. There are others of us here who are with us in the wake of a very difficult loss. And then there are those who are here seeking some moment of pause and contemplation at the end of a hectic, busy week with its ups and downs. So I invite us to each just take a breath. Think of either a highlight of the week or a challenge that you're carrying into this space. Take a moment to draw in that fresh air and to center yourself as we enter into the holy time of Shabbat. In order to get us started to bring more and more light into the world as the light disappears outside of this tent, we invite tomorrow morning's bat mitzvah, Aubrey Ben Moshe, to come forward with her family to this table. Come on forward, guys. You don't even need the books. Those of you who are here or on the live stream, you can turn to page 120. On the live stream, you can click the link for the PDF flip book and turn to page 120 for the candle blessings.
אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של
Kesher officially started this week, which Julian knows because he was there, and Aubrey was there last week. At the end of every class, our students gathered at the edge of the grass at the Kesher entrance, waiting for their parents to pick them up. So eager were they to re-greet their parents that they were literally jumping into the road when they saw them begin to enter the crosswalk. Not because they wanted to leave, let's be clear. They were enjoying being there, and also it was the end, so they were eager to leave. After mitigating the safety hazard, I marveled at the excitement with which, yes, our kindergartners, but also some of our fourth graders greeted their parents. That palpable excitement is what I hope we can all carry with us into Shabbat. May we all experience as much joy greeting Shabbat and ultimately the Shabbat bride as our students do in rejoining their parents. We begin our Kabbalat Shabbat section with Lechuna Ranana, page 130.
Let us sing unto God a new song. Let us sing unto God a new song.
Page 131.
Shiru l'Adonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru l'Adonai, Kol ha'aretz. Shiru l'Adonai, Baruch Hu Shemo, Masru miyom le'yom Yeshuato, Sakru
turn to pages 138 and 139, where we take all of the energy that we've just sung with and we bring it to Shabbat. We bring it to greeting our Shabbat bride. We'll sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. On verse 9, we'll rise and literally greet the bride. We'll see who joins us this week.
So this is a new melody that I want to take a minute to teach to you. It goes like this. It's by Rabbi Josh Warshofsky. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi. Beautiful. Likrat Kala, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat. You try. Penei Shabbat. Beautiful. Nekabela. Sounds so beautiful. We're going to put that all together now. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat. Nekabela. Shamor v'zachor mediburecha hishmi'anu el hamiyuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad l'shemo tiferet v'litchila lecha Dodi. Shabbat lechu v'lecha ki mekor habracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'makshava techila lecha Dodi.
When we turn to the words of Baruch Hu, we ask if we're ready. Are you ready to pray? And then we respond, yes, we're ready to pray. So I was thinking, if we come to Shabbat every week, why are we asking the same question over and over and over again? This week, we celebrated Simchat Torah. We finished reading our Torah scroll, and we started reading our Torah scroll in the same week, in the same breath, traditionally. We finished reading Deuteronomy, and we start reading Breshit. And I think you could ask the same question. If we read Torah every single week, why do we keep reading over and over and over again? And I think these two questions have the exact same answer. We are changed. We are different each time we come to pray. We are different each time we read a story from our Torah. And the world outside is changed. Our world is changed. So every time we come back to Torah, every time we come back to prayer, to this space, and we get ready for Baruch Hu, every time we come back, we are different. And so once again, we prepare ourselves to be ready, to pray, to move forward into Shabbat. Page 146. Be seated. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all of these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael.
Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha Uvechol nafshecha uvechol meyotecha ve'hayu
Ha'dvarim ha'ele
asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha וקשרתם מאוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Amen. our song of redemption, our song of freedom, Micha Mocha, is on page 158. In this week's Torah portion, we are in the Garden of Eden, paradise. And once we leave, once we are kicked out of the Garden of Eden, all of a sudden, we have a need for shelter and for protection, which is what our next prayer, Hashkivenu, speaks about. All of a sudden, we have this need for shelter, for protection. Paradise and fear in the same chapter, in a matter of verses, we go from paradise to fear. But the prayer is not just a reminder to ask God to bring us that little bit of protection, but we are reminded that it is our task as well to build that Sukkot Shalom, to build that shelter of peace that we all need in this world. Page 160.
Shalom, ve'amidenu shomreinu lechaim.
This week in our prayers, we change something over. If you turn to page 168, you'll notice that there's an indented part with stars that say winter and summer. It is not winter. I just got to look. It is not winter. I want to clarify. But in Israel, Sukkot is the time that we change from the dry season to the rainy season. And so our prayers change to reflect what's happening in Israel because our hearts are in Israel. So our prayers change from summer, where we say Morid Hatal, may the dew fall, to Moshiv Haruach u'Morid Hagashem, may the wind blow and the rain fall. And in Israel, around this time is when the rain starts to fall. Our prayers reflect that because our hearts, like I said, are in Israel. And so as we pray the Amidah tonight, we have that opportunity to notice the difference, to notice just how connected we are to the agricultural cycle in Israel, and more importantly, to life in Israel. And so I invite us to join together in our Amidah, beginning on page 164 as we rise.
Adonai, Sefatai Tiftach, Ufri Hagi Tehilatecha. Adonai, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל התורה והושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם. מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופך אוהלים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בגבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Some of our hearts are in Israel, some of our hearts are here, but always we need opportunities to look within, regardless of where our hearts are headed. Now we have a few moments for silent prayer. I invite you to use the words in the book or those in your heart, and when you're finished with your prayers, to have a seat. Sometimes we seek God when we're in need of comfort, blessing, healing, support. In those times, we search for a God who will engulf us in God's embrace, offering succor as we lay down our burden or that of another which we carry. Mishaberach is our prayer, which helps remind us that God is always with us on our journey, or they're protecting us, or they're protecting those we know in need of healing. And so we ask for protection, healing, respite for those in need of healing from illness of mind, body, or spirit. Those names who have been made known to us in need of healing are Batya Leah Bat Herschel Devora, Harold Batt, Rod Brayman, John Callaghy, Frida Easton, Steve Elliott, Roy Fuchs, Lonnie Gans, Sarah Goldstein, Brad Hammer, Ruth Harris, Jill Isaacs, Dan Canner, Richard Kastenholtz, Phyllis Kamansky, Mark Krigsman, Carol Kurzman, Ira Levy, Terry Langer, Linda Mandel, Maggie Mulcahy, Deborah Phillips, Lorraine Riccio, Liam Richards, Deborah Lynn Ross, Steve Seaman, Shirley Shack, Batya Silverman, Kathy Soroka, Sandy Troy, Rob Wachstein, John Weiss, Joan Wetzler, Joan Winokur. Is someone you're thinking of in need of healing this evening? I invite you to share their name aloud.
Lori Doxer.
We think of all of them and ask for healing as we turn to page 371 for Mishaberach.
I'll add one more name from the live stream, Sandra Bromble. Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. This week we begin at the beginning again, the very first verses of the first book of the Torah. We get these words, Bereshit bara Elohim. In the beginning, God created. And we hear the story of creation. I want to share with you one composer's interpretation of that beginning time when Ruach Elohim, the Spirit of God, the Spirit of Elohim, moved across the waters of the deep. Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz, ve'haaretz hayta tohu vavohu ve'choshech al pnei tehom, ve'ruach Elohim מרחפת על פני המים. מרחפת על פני המים.
In the beginning, the world was formless and void. And the Spirit of God, Ruach Elohim, hovered over the face of the waters, merachefet al pnei hamayim. And then God said, Yehi or, let there be light. And there was light. So begins our story. So begins our Torah. But from the earliest generations of rabbis, we've wondered, what exactly came before this? The world seems to already have existed in some way, even formless and void. So what preceded all of that? Well, the rabbis, the sages, wrote a story, which is one of my favorite Jewish stories, and I want to share it with you. Before God created anything physical, any of the physical parts of the world that we see and can touch, God first created all of the attributes of our existence that make life good. God created love and justice and compassion and beauty and truth and hope and wonder. All of those things that really make life worth living. God loved what God had created. And God loved it so much, all of these things, these qualities, so much, that God did not want to let them go, these vessels. But guess what? Love and beauty and truth and generosity and wonder and hope, they knew that the world needed them much more than God did. And so each of these qualities of goodness burst out of the vessels with such power that the shards of those vessels and the sparks of goodness buried themselves deep in creation. All aspects of creation, including, we say, human beings. And God began to create the physical world for one purpose, and that was to reunite, to regather, to reclaim truth and beauty and love and generosity and justice and hope and wonder. So God created everything that we see, and at the end of the sixth day, God created us and tasked us by giving us Torah with discovering those sparks, finding, digging out, and reassembling those shards of the vessels. God gave us Torah as a map, a guide for how to do that. This is the origin of our treasured phrase, Tikkun Olam, literally repairing the world, repairing the brokenness that God never intended to be, but yet that is sunk so deeply into creation. I love this story because it sets a task before us that is both daunting and also very straightforward. Find those sparks, dig out those shards as deep as they may be embedded, and reunite all of the goodness of the world. That's it. That's why we're here. May we take that task with seriousness and also with empathy. Amen.
God created darkness and light and day and called it good. Vayikra Elohim la'olam ve'lachoshech kara layla vayhi erev vayhi boker yom echad ve'ruach Elohim merachefet al pnei hamayim.
We turn to page 586 in the middle of the page, and we rise as we are able for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו כהמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
As we turn to our moment of memory, our moment for Mourner's Kaddish, Kaddish Yatom, on this week of Parshat Breshit, where we have started the Torah over again, I often think of this time last year, Breshit last year, and then we move on to Noach, and Parshat Noach last year. And I'm reminded that in the year between last year and this year, at any particular moment, we've all suffered losses. And there are folks in our lives who may have been with us in physical body last time and are not here with us at this moment. And so we call to mind their memories and we keep them alive by saying their names and telling their stories as we live our lives. In our community, we're thinking of those who have died within the past month in the period of Shloshim. We're thinking of Pam Sameta, sister of Rita Appel and John. Brian Friedman, cousin of Mark and Alexandra. Jane Jackson, sister of Nancy Isaacs and Richard and wife of Todd. David Kamansky, husband of Phyllis, father of Jennifer and Alyssa and Simon. Catherine Olshan, mother of Jackie Kaufman and Ross, grandmother of Eleanor and Charlotte, wife of Andrew, and Joan Scupp, wife of David. And we acknowledge the recent passing of Jim Muller, father of David and Diana, and grandfather of Daniel, Julia, and Benjamin. Are there other names for Shloshim in the past 30 days? Anyone wants to add to our community? And for those whose deaths occur on this Shabbat, the Yartzites, we remember Cedra Albert, Philip Beckoff, Millie Brownstein, Samuel Crane, Nellie Korenman, Harriet Epstein, Eugene Gorkin, Samuel Harrison, Sally Ispan, Bernard Klein, Meyer Krim, Patty Matloff, Stuart Perlman, Harriet Rao, Beverly Rosenfeld, Lillian Rosenzweig, Shirley Ross, Suzanne Rubenstein, Albert Rubenstein, Ann Stern, and Julius Yudkovitz. Are there other names for Kaddish for someone you're remembering on this evening that you want to bring into our community? We turn to page 598 for the words of Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah,
Amen.
ve'almad divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'bizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudusha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Say shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru
How wonderful to all be together on this evening. It may be a little chilly in the air, but it's warm in our hearts. And some of you sitting by the heaters, it's warm for you too. Those of you who are at home on the live stream, we trust it's warm where you are as well. It's really just beautiful to see this tent full of members of our community. Aubrey, we're going to invite you to help us with Kiddush and Motzi if you'd like to do that. Please come forward. I'm going to share my microphone with you. Kiddush, the blessing over our juice, over our wine, is on page 123. It's going to be easier if I do this. Here, let me turn this.
Not now.
Does your cousin want to join you too?
I'll invite him if he wants to.
They can both come.
Come on, guys.
Grab yourself some cups. Take a cup.
There's two for you guys. Ready?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'ahavta uvratzon hibnu lanu. Zikaron Lemase Bereshit, Hihu Yom Tehillah Lemikrae Kodesh, Zecher Tziat Mitzrayim, Kivanu v'harta, Viltanu kidashta, Mikol Hamim. Shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon imhaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat.
L'chaim.
You guys can
Take
do
a
a little
sip.
l'chaim and take a sip. It's just juice. It's grape juice. L'chaim. Have a sip of juice. Excellent. The whole thing? He's down. He's downing the whole thing. Okay, we're going to put this down. And you guys, as a family, you can share that challah. You can take the cover off. Okay, that's whatever you want to, however you want to do. However you want to do.
Okay, Julian, hold it up for your sister. Or let Aubrey hold it up.
I don't think you need this.
Yeah, okay.
You know this. Ready?
Oh, I can take. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lehem min haaretz. Amen.
Shabbat shalom.
You guys you can do whatever you want. You can take the challah. You can take some slices. This is just for your family. You guys, this is a family challah, okay?
We're going to
Yeah.
close with a song
Beautiful.
for peace as we get the challah ready. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Ve'al kulam. Salam aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam shalom. Salam aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam shalom. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam.
Dear God, with your help, may we find those hidden, embedded sparks and shards of love and justice and goodness and, yes, of shalom, of peace. May we reunite them, bring them back together, completing creation as you intended it. Adonai oz le'amo yitain, Adonai yivarech et amav v'shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Shabbat
shalom.
shalom.